tradition this day and age to read any good news on the newspaper page. And love and tradition of the grand design, some people say is even harder to find.
All right, all things real estate. I'm looking forward to the next 3 months because I've decided we're going to revamp the podcast for January.
Stop playing.
Yep.
To what?
It's going to be different.
The Property Bros.
Different format, different name.
Whoa. 5 guys, 1 house.
And that's actually not bad. And maybe even different people sitting in these chairs.
Dave,
are you out?
We're going to cut you right there, buddy.
Yep.
This team is...
Dave's out.
No, I am not out. But yeah, look forward to some big changes coming January this year for all of our podcast listeners and watchers. And for you guys too, because maybe I'll just keep the surprises to myself. How about that?
Are you firing us?
Anyway, moving right along.
What am I walking into?
If this is the last video,
you just got
guys see
fired.
us, yeah. Thank you guys for watching. We appreciate all the support.
It was good while it lasted.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to do a poll. Which one of these guys do you think won't be?
We should play
January?
Survivor.
Yeah.
Whoever has the best you're only as good as your last podcast.
That's right. How was our last podcast?
I think it was
That
good.
was good.
That's when Jacob was on, right?
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Good job, Jake.
The producer.
All right, market minute.
Market minute. So here we go. October, rolling into the last quarter of the year. I have told this to my buyers that have become impatient. October is a great time to be a buyer. For whatever reason, June and October every year favors buyers. I have a lot of theories behind that, but it's proof. I mean, days on market are up. Number of offers per property are down.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
And I've got listing agents actually calling me back, saying, hey, you guys gonna make an offer? So October, if you're a buyer, tends to be a better time to sell. You have a little bit more leverage in a slightly better position. So for all you buyers that have been, burnt out or pissed off over the last few months, hold out a little bit of hope. There's still not a lot of inventory. Only 693 homes for sale from Gilroy to Palo Alto. And there's 365 condos and townhomes. So, I mean, it's where it's at. Like I said before, I think we'll end the year at probably 400 homes on the market, maybe a little bit less.
That is dumb.
But, to that cliche thing we always say, who you work with matters. Ben and I just put together an off-market deal over in 95148, right? There are still a lot of opportunities. And it's one of those things where the seller just wanted to get a specific number for their home. They understood that selling off-market has the potential to leave some money on the table. But this is a home you'll never find on Zillow, Redfin, Trulia, any of those portals. It's truly a relationship business. And in fact, you will see it on Zillow in probably 2 months when we flip it and sell it for a profit.
Yeah, it sounds cliche to say, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like all the places that we see this inventory ticking up are in like the starter home areas where the off-market properties are coming, where the inventory we see rising. I think where I at least see the inventory slowing down or there is no inventory popping up are these areas like Los Gatos, Los Altos, areas where people I feel like have so much money put into their home that they're just not going anywhere. They don't need to upgrade to anything.
Yeah, and we're seeing some softening. We might have mentioned this before, South County, right? So, it always kind of starts Hollister, slows down first, then it moves into Gilroy, Morgan Hill, right? We always see South County and the outlying areas slow down first, and then it just kind of, that little wave rolls in through Morgan Hill, South San Jose, parts of the east side.
So one thing that I think is a little odd is that if you go to the farthest point of Evergreen, of course you have schools.
Yep.
But that's almost farther with, say, decent amount of traffic on 101 to Morgan Hill. That's almost just as far. But Evergreen seems to hold its value higher and stronger than somewhere like Morgan Hill, Gilroy area.
Yeah, I agree. I think definitely you have the Temple up there. You have some really good
Country
skills.
clubs up there.
Yeah, country clubs up there. And so it's.
So why does Morgan Hill or Gilroy or Hollister get hit harder?
I think some people, it's as simple as some people just want to be able to say they live in San Jose. Other people don't want that 101 traffic going into Morgan Hill. And to your point, the schools are better in Evergreen better is a relative word. I want to make sure we don't get in trouble here. They are currently ranked higher than the schools in Morgan Hill, and people will still pay money for schools.
Hold on.
Ben? Go ahead.
School update. Greatschools.com. Live Oak is now
A 9.
an 8.
8.
8.
And we stand corrected.
But it's
made a
interesting.
mistake.
Okay, so
Leland is not a 6. Jeet.
Leland is a 6.
Leland-
Pioneer is not higher. It's a 6. It was a 7. It
Yeah,
went down.
that's where Jeet was.
Wrong.
for updated rankings, please look at the following screen. That's where you're gonna post.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because like Evergreen, those properties sell quicker. I think Country Club holds a lot of the value over there. But then you go to the other side of
Country Club.
Silver Creek
Country Club. It's massive.
But it's private.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's why
Usually-
people.
The like inside the gates. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about purely golf. You mean
No,
the houses?
no, houses.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
But then on the other side, or I shouldn't say it, on the same side, Berryessa, past Berryessa, where the San Jose Country Club is, those homes don't sell as quick.
The schools aren't as good.
Yeah. Also, the type of construction at Silver Creek Country Club
newer.
is newer, and it's unique to our area. Also, the same thing as you were saying, like it trickles down from South County to our county. Same goes for East Bay. So, like if you're in Fremont, some of the areas that would slow down first is Tracy, Mountain House, and then Livermore, Pleasanton, and then it would trickle into Fremont. So right now, some of the properties I'm working on in Pleasanton are actually slower than earlier this year.
No, absolutely. And again, further out you get away from Santa Clara County proper,
Exactly.
then there's more softening out there.
I learned an interesting lesson. We've all had a client, I would say, make this mistake, but I actually made the mistake.
Okay.
This was a great opportunity in Cambrian. It was right by Branham High School. It was a hoarder house. It was an off-market opportunity because the seller was still living there, so it wasn't really showable. It was a tri-level home. It had a really nice yard. It was about 8 or 10,000 square feet. And you and I talked about it. There was one blaring negative with the property.
Power line.
And it was that the power tower, not just power lines, but the power tower was directly across from the front yard of the home. That can, as we all know, hinder value quite a bit. It's a big red flag to a lot of people. A lot of people think that it produces EMFs, which are proven to cause cancer, and it's a big eyesore. I really loved the property at 1.4.
Yeah.
I talked to the agent. I said, hey, at 1.4, I'll take it all day long. He said, hey, unfortunately, there's quite a bit of activity. You're probably going to have to be at least at 1.5 or higher. And I was like, oh, if I want to flip this house, that's going to take away all my profit. So at 1.5, I hated it. I didn't like it. I didn't feel good about it. I'm doing it with a friend. I can't say, hey, let's do it at 1.5. It's a no-brainer, right? Because
A little
then I need
risky.
at least 1.7, 1.8. So I don't follow up. I don't write the offer. I don't call the agent. The agent doesn't call me. But that offer, come to find out, the top offer backed out. There's an offer behind the 1.5 offer at 1.45, let's say. And that offer wanted to rewrite the offer. And then there was a super solid agent that does a lot of business at 1.37. The seller's agent knew that other agent, pushed forward the fact that, hey, this is going to get done at 1.37. I didn't write my offer, so I wasn't even in the ball game here. And they took it at 1.37. Oh my God, at 1.37, I would have loved that opportunity.
Cool story. What's a lesson that you learned?
The lesson that I learned was, sorry, that did get a little drawn out. The lesson that I learned is always write the offer. Even if you don't think you're going to be the highest, put your best foot forward and see what happens.
Get
So
the driver's seat.
at least you can enter the race, right? Because to not have a horse in the race,
You can't trot.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's crazy you talk about the power pole, though, because you did have a recent property that I think sold for much higher than the one near a power pole. So that does make a lot of sense.
Yeah, and we're actually going to be having another property coming right by that power tower
And
in Almaden, if anyone's interested.
and if buyers are concerned, they can get the EMF report from PG&E.
Yeah, you can get the EMF report, you can get an EMF reader, and what you're going to find is if you turn that EMF reader on next to a microwave versus when you go stand into that big tower, one of them's going to go off significantly higher than the other.
And which one's that?
The microwave.
So the other lesson is don't stand in front of microwaves.
Yeah, seriously, when you go to microwave food, you should walk away. Like the amount of radiation in that 30 seconds is pretty crazy. I'm not a cancer researcher, but I've just been told.
All right, let's move on.
All right. Let's move on to a topic that came up earlier this week with one of my buyers. They went and put in a They started the loan process, went to go get their credit ran, and then soon to find out, they started getting blasted with a bunch of emails and calls. Called me and said, "Hey Ben, I'm getting calls from different lenders. Like, can I talk to you about which lender to go with?" Now, I looked into this, talked to my lender as well. If you go to start the mortgage process to get your credit run, not only do the 3 big bureaus run your credit, but they also notify and sell the buyer information to other lenders in the area.
I just had this happen too.
Right? So that,
And your clients are getting inundated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to stop this, I have this written down, and you can put this on the screen as well. To stop this, before getting started or while you're in the process, go to optoutprescreen.com. One more time, optoutprescreen.com, and click Do Not Contact List, and it'll take you off of it.
Wow.
So if you're a buyer thinking you're getting blown up by random people for no reason, you are getting blown up for no reason. They're selling your information. So,
Wow.
I know.
Yeah, they told me they had at least 80 phone calls in one day.
Yeah, it really just, it gets triggered to everyone. It's pretty interesting. So
what is it that they want to do?
They're all competing.
yeah, they're all competing for the business.
Oh,
Who's got better rates? Oh, I can give you this program.
Oh, so
I
they're
can
just
do this.
guessing that you're applying for
it's
a home.
They're
literally-
shopping. Yeah, it's a trigger on your Equifax TransUnion and Experian trade line that says, "Oh, this person has applied for a mortgage loan." Same thing happens with car loans too. All of that stuff then gets sold on secondary market, so that way other banks and finance companies can reach out and try to get the business.
Is it interesting that this both came up though this week with buyers? Maybe for a reason that mortgage lenders or lenders are now getting a little more hungrier since.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's happened to a couple of my buyers as well. Like as soon as they get pre-approved and their credit run, they just get blown off the
So
hook for it.
what's the difference with your lender running your credit and then you pulling your credit on
The 3 main
like Credit Karma?
Well, the 3 main bureaus. Once you go to get a
I know, but
loan,
sometimes it'll say on Credit Karma 750, and then you go to get your credit run by your lender, and it's like 680.
Credit Karma, the score that Credit Karma comes up with is not a FICO score, right? It's their algorithm where they put a score together based on credit history, payment history, all that different types of credit, that good stuff. FICO is something completely separate, right? So Equifax, TransUnion, Experian all use FICO to come up with the score. So that's what's different. Now you can go to one of those 3 and pull your score as well and get something that's more reflective of what your mortgage lender or auto finance company may pull.
Which one would you use?
I would probably, it depends what you want. Typically your TransUnion score is going to be higher than Equifax and Experian. However, when you go to qualify for a mortgage, your lender pulls all 3 and then takes kind of the middle of the 3 scores, right?
That's what I thought, but I wasn't sure why it was so off. Gee, what do you got?
So recently, there have been quite a few instances where I've noticed discrepancy of information. So if you go to Redfin, Zillow, the number of beds bought, square footage, and school information that you have is different on all 3 websites. So like on the MLS, it'll be different. On Redfin, it'll be different, and on Zillow, it'll be different. So what I've noticed is a lot of buyers rely on this information that's out there on Zillow and Redfin, and it may not be the most accurate information. So reach out to one of us, and we can give you the most.
Just call G for that. I don't have time to look in bedroom and bathroom discrepancies.
No, because a lot of the times, especially schools, right? People are writing offers based on what they think is on Zillow and Redfin. So it's very important to actually know. And the best way to know if the schools in your district is to call the district, right? Call them up and give them the address that you're thinking of purchasing.
Yeah.
And they should be able to give you the most accurate information.
I came into a recent issue with this in the property that I have. On title, it shows a full bathroom less than what it actually has. So for people who run into this problem, and I've ran into this with buyers as well, where they're confused, like, oh, I wonder if it's permitted. What are the steps that need to be taken as a title company, or how does that get resolved to where the buyer feels like they're getting...
Pretty easy. David taught me.
Thank you.
What did I teach you?
Yeah.
He said, "Oh, no problem, man. You're just going to go to the county. You're going to tell them. They're going to send someone out. They're going to look at it, and then they're going to change it. Sometimes they don't even look at it. It took all of probably 5 minutes. Seriously.
That's it.
I mean, if you could tell it's been altered and kind of shoddy, you shouldn't do that. But if you know that's the original floor plan, you've seen the house a million times, and it's like, oh yeah, why is that off? This one happened to me in Los Gatos, said 2-1. and is a 3.2 is just an accident.
Okay, so I know the answer to this, but some of the people may be curious about it. If an appraiser goes to the property to appraise it after being in contract and they see on title that it's one way and then they see it the other, does that affect anything?
Are you asking me?
I'm asking the jury.
I say, if it is it an addition?
So it would be, well, it's not an addition. It would be an addition to what title has. So title has as a 4.2, it's really a 4.3.
So based on my experience, I have found that as long as it has the correct ingress, egress, windows, closets, heating, cooling, all of those things, they don't look at what the title report reflects.
Yeah, and the appraiser may also reference the prior MLS history, prior sale history. So if it still shows that same number of bedrooms and bathrooms the last time it was sold, more times than not, the appraiser's just going to go with what he sees.
And last question, if it gets appraised for a higher square footage than the original square footage on title, do the property taxes change from what it was currently being
No, because how...
Property taxes are based on what?
sales price?
Yes.
These are questions that I get asked. I just repeat.
Yeah, and how would the...
I'm trying to ask you.
Yeah, the county or city in no way knows what that appraiser comes up with.
Please
right?
put disclaimer that Ben knows the answers.
Oh, I hope the person who's asking me this is watching this podcast today, because those are all the answers.
Can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
Sure.
What would you say is the average termite work dollar amount that you would see on a report?
Oh, well,
Where you're like, hey, that's totally normal. Don't worry about it.
I would say 4,000 to 7,000 for a single family, let's say for like 1,500 square feet.
Section 1, tenting, everything. Yeah, probably 4 to 6.
I say it's 5 and under is probably what you want to be looking at.
Yeah, I say 5 to 7.
And okay, so
Do you think we have more termite work here than anywhere else in the nation?
depends on
The
where you're at.
coasts
Yeah.
tend
Coasts.
to, right?
What do you tell clients when they say, "Should we tent?"
I say if the termite inspector recommends tenting, I say absolutely tent. The good news is it takes a long time for termites to do significant damage. The bad news is when they do significant damage, it's costly. So, you might as well tent. And now most termite companies will only guarantee your home to be termite free for roughly 2 years. So just know you're likely to have termites again, but it's a great way to, and it's relatively inexpensive. It's about $1 a square foot to tent a home, and it's a great way, when you're moving into it, to at least know for the next 2 to 3 years, you don't have to worry about active infestation and ongoing damage.
More than termites, what freaks people out is rats and things like that.
Yeah.
So make sure you get your cats out of the house. We had one client get a house tented with their cat underneath the house. Long live the kitty.
Wait, was a cat living?
Yeah.
Well, he was.
That's horrible.
I know. They're like, we can't find the cat.
So they just said, "Let's leave it and tent it."
No, they
anyways?
didn't realize that it was an outdoor cat.
Oh, gotcha.
The cat never came back.
Cat tried to go home. There was a tent on the house, so they went under. Yeah, that sucks.
So it gives you a blank slate. I would say termite tenting is going to give you a blank slate for all bugs, infestations.
Okay.
And it's not too expensive.
I have another question. Rough guess. How warm do you think it is outside right now?
How?
Don't bring. I'm gonna start taking off my.
It's about 80 degrees here in Los Gatos. And Ben's got his long sleeve, his
Me and Aaron
Patagonia vest on.
jumped in an ice bath this morning. I'm still cold. I'm still shaking.
All right. I digress. But we were Aaron and I want to talk about something today, kind of transitioning.
It's really about the look. I feel like that Silicon Valley tech guy.
There's kind of two ways when people are looking to hire someone to sell their home. There's kind of two ways to go about it, right? There's the referral route and sphere of influence, that sort of thing. Hey Aaron, I need to sell my house. Who should I call? Or what has become increasingly popular is people will go to portals or aggregators where they'll say, hey, we showcase the best agents, type in your address and we'll give you 5 agents to choose from. Well, I want to peel back the curtain a little bit there and explain to the consumer how those companies work. Anytime a portal or a website refers agents to you, that agent is paying a significant amount of money to that portal typically 30 to 40% of their total commission. So what that means, when you use those portals to hire those agents are making less money than they traditionally would. And what we've found out in a lot of those instances, because we've talked to homeowners that have gone that route, is that agents then have to cut corners to make up the margins that they would normally make. And that could include not using a high-end photographer, not covering the cost of staging. You know, we as a team send our handyman out there to do minor repairs. There's a lot that goes on cost-wise for us that other agents cut corners on because they use those portals. So just kind of consumer alert there. Just know when you're going to those, you know, you want to name any of them?
No.
It rhymes with
No.
Dome Flight.
Dome Flight, okay.
Dome Flight.
And you know, hey, no knock on those places, but let's be transparent. Let's talk about what really goes on there. And I know that there's another very popular portal that people go
Similar to Pillow.
Yes, rhymes with pillow, where people put in the value of their home, and now they're getting an offer that says, hey, you know, we'll give you a cash offer on your home in 3 hours or less.
I'll give you a cash offer for better than whatever their cash offer is. You
actually make up a great point. If anybody wants a cash offer for their home, go online and get some sort of instant offer and then bring it to us. And like Aaron said, we'll double it. That's not what Aaron said. But in all seriousness, before you just go with some faceless entity to get a cash offer on your home, hey, go ahead and get it in writing from them and then reach out to us, because not only will we give you a cash offer, which will be significantly more than what they offer, but we're also going to tell you what your house would be worth if you put it on the market today, or the maximum value you could get for your home if you handed the keys over to us, let us fix it up, prepare it for sale. So we'll prepare all three of those valuations for you and then give you the information you need to make an informed decision.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. All right. Is that it? Short, sweet today? Happy birthday, Mark.
We got one more item, but we can save it till next week.
No, I actually forgot. I was going to say something. I would like to talk about the difference with Bay Area real estate versus the rest of California, let's say.
Okay.
Our contract is written for the state of California. Almost 10 out of 10 times, we write as-is offers. But when you tell other agents that you're writing as-is offers, they don't really understand what that means. And what I'd like to say is that when you're writing offers with clients, you guys are provided all of the property inspections, termite inspections, and roof inspections up front almost all the time. So we know exactly what we're getting into the property before we ever write the offer. What are some red flags you would say that would prevent you from recommending a property or buying a property?
That already has the inspection reports up front?
Yeah, so if you're going through it with a client, what would you tell your client? Hey,
I wouldn't say...
I would stay away.
I wouldn't say they're deal breakers, but certainly things that may need further investigation is moisture underneath the home, right? I mean, especially if you find moisture underneath the home in the summertime, right? You know, let's figure out why. Is it a high water table? Does a neighbor have a pool that overflows? You know, things like that, because it's not uncommon to get water under a home from time to time. But if that moisture is still there in the middle of July, then maybe there's some mitigation that we have to do. SUP pump, cover up the soil underneath the home. So again, I'm not saying it's a deal breaker, but things like that, and then different types of foundation cracks, horizontal crack versus a vertical crack, right? Have the pillars come offset over time? You know, there's stuff like that.
This is good, Dave.
I think a lot of times, especially new buyers, they will get overwhelmed by an inspection report because the home inspector, termite inspector, roof inspector, it's their job to nitpick everything. And I love that they're so thorough in their jobs, but it's our experience that we have to navigate and interpret that report for our clients and let them know what is truly like, hey, get this fixed before you move in, monitor this over time, or hey, next time you remodel or do something, address those issues.
To piggyback from David, I don't think there's necessarily an exact reason to divert from a home if that's the location that you're looking for in the area you want to be in. But again, as real estate agents, it's our job to protect our client's liability. And if we and the lender know what they're paying per month and how much they're putting down on this home and what their bank accounts look like, they might not be able to go into a house and afford a $40,000+ roof job.
Right.
So depending on that situation, I think that's where those questions come into play.
And a great strategy for people like that are, because we talk about this all the time, Aaron thinks the hardest part of getting into a home is a down payment, and it is for a lot of people because then they don't have the cash left over to do, remodel repairs, water heater breaks or something like that. So for buyers like that I'm working with, we look for properties that have been on the market more than 30 days. Because if a home in our area has been on the market more than 30 days, we know that the seller is considering a price reduction or should be at some point. Great opportunity for us to be able to, one, go in and offer under the asking price, but also maybe offer some, ask for some credits for repairs. Right, so look at that as a strategy too. Find those homes that have been sitting for a while because they're ripe for a price reduction or some sort of negotiation that'll benefit the buyer.
So if you buy a house today, first-time home buyer, the house has maybe updates from 20 years ago. How much should a home buyer expect to have to pay over the course of the next 365 days to maybe make some repairs and fix the house up? Because things are going to go wrong.
Well, first of all, I'm going to say every one of the deals that we write for our clients have a home warranty included. You should be nodding your head.
Yes, mine are too. Yes.
Okay.
But that warranty doesn't cover everything now.
Well, but it covers a lot of things, right? So most of the major items. So it's going to cover all your appliances, furnace, water heater, air conditioning.
But it has to be in working condition when you bought the home.
Absolutely. So for you to ask, well, what can a average homeowner expect to pay in maintenance and repairs over the first year? It depends. Depends on how old of the house you're getting, how old's the roof, how old are the appliances, how good's your home warranty.
Hey man, it was just a generic question.
Well, I'm going to give you a generic answer. It depends.
Well, I would at least budget for like a 1 to 2% of the purchase price in order to keep aside on top of your down payment and closing costs for repairs. Like that's a generic.
I like that. That's what I say too.
All right, 1 to 2%.
Yeah.
All right, so 15 to 30K.
Or maybe just things that you want to fix up in the house once you buy it. I don't know. Like it just seems like every house that my clients are buying, we're doing something right away.
And how much are they spending on average for the first year?
Well, I was curious about you, but I would say probably 10 to 12.
10 to 12% of
Grand.
the 10. Oh, okay. So they're doing minor stuff.
Yeah, a little fix up here. There's a lot of things that sellers don't even notice are broken when they live in the house for 30 years.
I've noticed recently that home warranties have also gotten very picky.
Very picky.
Very picky.
And also they take a lot longer to repair the items that they would cover.
Yeah.
So like one of my clients is going through a 3-month water heater repair, which should have taken 2 to 4 weeks at most.
So are you saying they don't have hot water for 3 months?
Yeah, so he's been struggling. So he's had. So he called me 2 months into it, and I was like, dude, just get it replaced, and I recommended a plumber, and then he got it fixed. He had been doing it manually for a while.
Just heat it in the microwave, getting all those EMFs.
Like on the stove, heating up water.
Okay.
Yeah, the old way.
We'll talk about that after the podcast. All right.
Yeah.
You're kidding me.
Yeah, I know. Insane.
Okay.
But now it's fixed.
If you're prepping a home for sale.
Wow.
All right, Aaron, if you're advising a seller and the seller says, Aaron, I only have enough money to either enhance the curb appeal.
Paint. I would paint. Sorry.
So you'd interior paint the walls over the first impression curb appeal.
Yeah. Power wash the outside and paint the inside.
You're not going to plant any flowers. You're not going to.
Is it like my budget? Sorry, I cut you off.
It's okay.
Can you say the whole thing?
I just want to know if a seller had X amount of money and they had the option.
How much money do they have?
Dude, it's a generic question. Give him a generic answer.
It's a hot take.
Yeah, it's generic money.
My hot take is if I had one thing to do and I had $5,000, I'd power wash and paint.
Paint the exterior, or just you'd paint interior?
I mean, if I have enough money to paint both, I'd.
But if you could only paint one, exterior, interior. Interior.
Interior.
So, first impression, curb appeal on a house doesn't matter as much as the interior condition of the home.
I don't believe in this current market.
Okay.
Yep. I would say even just painting the.
I'm gonna try to do something in the front yard. It is the first thing they see, right? I mean, how many times have we pulled up to a property to show it, and the next door neighbor's house is trashed, right? And the image and the feeling that leaves in a potential buyer's mind. And I think the same thing goes for the house itself. I mean, they want it to feel kind of warm and welcoming. And so having, like you said, power wash, doing some annual, some annuals plant to bring a pop of color, something. If you can paint the exterior, absolutely. I think for a lot of our buyers, that first impression matters.
I think our clients are so used to looking houses that they don't care. I mean, a lot of agents don't do what we do.
Agreed. But we're talking to sellers.
Oh yeah,
As a seller.
I mean, as a seller, I would just let you just give me the key and let me handle it because
Right.
I'm going to pay for everything up front and you're going to reimburse me and I'm going to get you $3 for every dollar what we spend.
Good answer.
That's a great answer.
All right. Well, I think that's enough for today. Jacob's got enough editing
I got
to do.
fired up on that one. This is the Property Brothers.
Property
The five bros in one house.
5 guys, 1 house.
Hell yeah! Happy birthday, Mark.
Happy birthday, Mark.
birthday.
Happy
And-
birthday, big cheese May.
And we'll see you guys soon.
Cheeseburger.